You live.
Welcome to DiveLive, everybody. This is such an awesome day. We're here in Cayman, which is in the middle of the Caribbean. We're coming to you live right now. This is happening right now. On camera, we have Jeandre. My name is Wallington, and on the surface is Nick Coney, who'll be talking with us. You can send your questions in, just type them straight in underneath the live stream, and those will be sent through to us, and we can answer your questions. And what we're trying to do here is we're trying to do something amazing. The first interactive live dives ever done. And we want to make this something that happens every single day. You can be a part of that journey. Just go to DiveLive.wildearth.tv and become a part of our journey on Kickstarter. But in the meantime, let's go diving. So come along with me now. What we've got right here is an anemone, and I'm not sure that you'll be able to see it, but there's a tiny little shrimp inside there, which lives in the anemone in a symbiotic relationship. There's also a small little yellow, I think it's a wrasse. Nikai, can you see that little yellow fish?
A little bit there, yeah. That is a little wrasse right there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, swimming in there.
Really beautiful. All right, let's take a swim on down here. You got this beautiful gully. Oh, wow. What is that over there? That's what kind of fish is that, Nikai?
Right there, you've got a hogfish, and the darker colored fish right there is a barjack. And now what that barjack is doing is something called shadow feeding, and it will follow the hogfish while the hogfish is finding any clams or crabs in the sand. That barjack would eat the little scraps that it gets spat out. And as you can see, the hogfish is going to use its little snout to kind of dig through the little rubble there, look for any crustaceans it can eat. Ooh.
Wow, look what it just did.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Well, that's another symbiotic relationship right there.
Oh, yes.
Now, a big part of what this is all about is really getting people to fall in love with our oceans. Not everybody can go scuba diving, but this is a way for anybody to, for free, jump on from your phone or on your television and be able to come on a scuba dive. Because the only way we're going to conserve our oceans is by getting us all to fall in love with it, to realize how just magnificent it is. Grand Cayman actually is in incredibly good condition, and that's because of the conservation that's been done in maintaining these reefs. You just see all around you here, this coral is super healthy. It hasn't bleached, which is great, and it's really looking good. Oh, I'm pulling Jeandre. Sorry, Jeandre. Now, Nikai, just told me, what is this over here?
That is a little statue that's made out of bicycle parts from a few staff members from Don Foster's there to decide one day to use the old bicycle parts that they've had laying around and create a little underwater sculpture, almost like a little artificial reef in a way.
Okay, just hold on a second. Don't pull any more, Jeandre. The umbilical is not coming. We're kind of stuck here.
All right, we'll sort it out from up here. We're slowly letting some out.
Okay, all right, cool.
Yes.
So, guys, what we've got is, going from me, what you'll see to Jeandre is this yellow cord. Now, this yellow rope is my comms cable. So, from this full face mask, I'm talking to you, and it goes via this cable into the housing, the camera housing. And then from there, it goes via a fiber optic line all the way up to the shoreline, just outside Don Foster's dive. And there we get onto the internet and it goes to you. Come along, let's try again. I think it's got a little bit more slack there,
yeah.
Jeandre.
Got a few questions here, Graham. One from Ellen. They're asking, what is the largest predator fish there, and how do they, the prey, warn others about the predator around there?
Well, actually, why did you answer that one, mate? I think you've got a better shot.
Well, Ellen, I would say the largest predator fish there could be a shark, but it does vary. You do get amberjacks around here. big varieties of groupers here too. So it really does vary. It's hard to tell how other preys warn other fish. One way would be they would actually group up together with other species of fish and use the big mass amount of schools to kind of make that predator more worrisome about the size of fish around there. Yes. Il Mare, yeah, we do have barracudas here in the Cayman Islands. Hopefully we'll find one swimming around out here today.
Look at this cute little guy. See if you can get into Jeandre. He's this little tiny fella swimming around. I'm not sure exactly what he is. Oh, he panicked. There he is.
That little purple and yellow fish there.
Next to the little purple and yellow fish.
Okay.
All right, well, Jeandre's got that. Let's have a look at that.
Well, that is a fairy basslet right there. And that fish is also well known in the movie Finding Nemo. Pretty neat creature there. And they love to hang upside down on ledges, just like how it is swimming upside down right there. That's kind of their favorite way to swim around, which is pretty interesting.
Beautiful colors down here. You'll see that what we've got is we've got a light on the side of the oh, look at that. Sorry, just to change. I don't know if you're going to be able to look at this, but there's a little shrimp right here. I'm probably asking a bit much, Jeandre, but you'll see it's waving his little feelers.
Ah, yes.
What is that, mate? What kind of shrimp is that, Nick?
That is a Peterman cleaning shrimp, and what they do is they're hanging around that anemone, and they're waiting for a fish to come on by and stop right there so they can jump on and clean any parasites right off of it. It's like a little home for those little shrimps there, that anemone. And the funny thing is, sometimes if you do keep your hand there, they can jump onto your fingers and clean your cuticles. Now, of course, though, you do want to be careful because you don't want to touch any of that coral there. The coral is a very delicate ecosystem. So, yeah, you definitely do not want to hurt any of the reef out there.
Yeah, I'll be very careful not to touch anything at all. This is so beautiful that you really don't want to damage the incredible coral here.
Now, Graham, Michael is wondering, what depth are you guys at right now?
Sorry, say that again, mate?
Michael was wondering, what depth are you at right now?
I'm at 9.9 meters, or just on 10 meters, which is about 30 feet. And we've reached a maximum depth of 12.6 meters so far. We've been underwater for 12 minutes. And I can stay at this depth for a very long time without going into decompression. And as you dive deeper and deeper in the ocean, so you get less time that you can spend there before you go into a situation where you have to decompress on the way back to the surface. So we're far from needing to do that. We'll run out of air, or rather we'll get too low to be able to continue long before we have a problem with decompression.
Oh yeah.
Now, I'm breathing air at the moment, actually. This tank on my back contains air, and then that's going through these hoses into my full face mask. That's what's allowing me to do this. Yeah. What else can we find? This is so beautiful.
Great question from Paula here. What's the most common type of coral that we can spot here in the Cayman Islands? There's a good variety. You got your brain coral, what looks like a human's brain. There's even starlet coral out there, which is very common. Has little dimples on it, and those dimples look like little stars, which is really neat. But you can find other kinds of corals out there, whether it be finger corals, staghorn coral, elkhorn coral. So yeah, great variety of common corals to spot out here.
Yes, you can take a look at that brain coral over here that you're talking about with those little stars.
Oh yes, and all those little dimples look like little stars, which is really neat.
You can see lots of fish that are... Oh, I don't want to bump it. See how all the fish stay really close to the coral so that if a predator comes along, they can dive into the reef.
Graham, Linda's asking, besides being awestruck, how do you feel about being underwater right now?
Well, how do I feel about that? I love diving, and I've been diving for a very, very long time. And it's my happy place. Scuba diving is the most relaxing, enjoyable experience. It's really easy to do. If you've got to do it safely and you've got to know what you're doing. But it's really easy to do, and it is super relaxing. Any day that includes scuba diving is a great day.
Oh, yeah. Especially today, hey? Now, Laurie, the temperature of the water is around 27 Celsius, or about 80 degrees right now. Really warm, actually. So it's pretty nice down there. Oh, yeah.
It's super warm. It's clear, it's flat, there's almost no current at all. It's just the slightest current going towards the south. It's just magnificent. Oh, look here, look at these fish over here. I wonder if anybody can guess what these fish are. Just go ahead and type it. Take a look at them. Actually, there's more than one species there. There's a couple.
Yeah, some grunts. Gave one away.
Did somebody get it right?
No, that was me.
You gave it away, man.
There's still some other species of fish that are in there that are kind of mixing in between them. And this is how fish kind of, I guess, live with each other. They use each other to kind of hunt, feed, or stay safe from other predators out there.
Take a look down there, Jeandre. There's a parrotfish. In fact, there's two kinds. Beautiful parrotfish. Now, which species of parrotfish is that?
This looks like it's moving a little bit quick. Looks like a little rainbow parrotfish, but it was quickly moving there for me to notice it. There are a variety of parrotfish to see out here, whether it be the rainbow parrotfish, stoplight parrotfish, midnight parrotfish, blue parrotfish. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for any colors out there. Now, Carlos, maybe we have a small chance of seeing sharks out here, but the Cayman Islands isn't really well known for shark activity. Maybe we might have a best chance of seeing a nurse shark, but nothing too big like a white shark or anything like that out here today.
Just loving seeing all these fish sitting on top of the coral head. And that one school of grunts has now met up with what look like another species of grunt, but that don't have the yellow fins. And they're all joining together. And they do this because they're not just friends, they do this because of safety. So fish can school together. Makes it harder for a predator to pick one out. There's a triggerfish coming in at the top there. I don't know if you can see that, John. I don't know what he's doing. Now, what kind of triggerfish is that, Nikai? Do you see it?
That is a queen triggerfish right there just passing by. Oh, yes.
And they can get pretty aggressive, those queen triggerfish.
Yeah, if you're by the nests. They tend to not really be as aggressive as some of the other triggerfish that are found around Thailand or those kind of areas there, which is pretty interesting.
Wow, looks stunning, eh? Really, really beautiful.
Oh, yes. Now, Colleen, coral takes a very long time to grow, thousands and thousands of years. What we're looking at with this coral from being around 10 meters coming up to about maybe 5 meters could probably be in around the years of about 10,000 years take to grow that height or even that width as well.
That's really why it's so important that we conserve it, because you just can't replace it overnight.
No, oh no, these corals are a very fragile ecosystem.
So, Jeandre, let's turn around. What you can see is that it's getting a bit shallower there, and there's a lot less coral. And because of that, there'll be a lot fewer fish for us to see. So we'll drift back down this over here, and that will we'll probably see a little bit more in this direction. And you really don't need to swim around fast while diving. You want to be relaxed. You want to take your time and just enjoy it very gently. There's all kinds of different species of coral over here, and I'm not going to say that I know all of them. I know the brain coral, but there really are lots of types, and it's in really good health. You can see a few small patches where the coral has died. I don't think that that's actually a bleaching thing. I think that's just a natural process. The coral grows on top of itself and slowly builds up.
Yes. We've got a comment here from Nigel. He's saying we should slow down and look in the crevices. When he was diving here in Cayman, he found some moray eels inside the crevice. So definitely keep your eyes open there.
So we will definitely try and find an eel. But there's a little baby grouper. I don't know if you can see it just on the side over there. It's a beautiful fish. He's very well camouflaged. What type of grouper is that, Nikai?
That's actually a Gravesby. It's not. It looks almost like a grouper, but they just have. It's a different species of fish there that just has that same body shape.
Let's go take a look at that big coral head over there. See what we can find.
Graham, another comment from or a comment from Kim. She wishes that she was there and not at work. Who doesn't wish to be in the water right now? Hey.
Yeah, may as well. We're here. Well, you are here. You are here with us right now.
Yeah.
Now, come take a look at this. This is a really interesting story. What we've got here is a sergeant major fish who's got all of his eggs down on a clear patch down on the sand. Well, it's not sand. It's actually on a piece of rock. And you can look. I don't know if you can see that there's this purple area. Now you see he's going down, and he's pushing water over. It's kind of maintaining or looking after the eggs. And he's defending this area. It's really important that we don't get too close, because if we chase him off, then another predator can come in and eat the eggs. So it's super important that we're very careful where we go on the reef and don't scare off the sergeant major. So let's go this way. We'll go around this way a little bit over here, Jeandre. Go take a look at this coral head and stay away from the sergeant major. Okay, so we're now at 7 meters. We're still very shallow. We've been in for 22 minutes. And we've still got plenty of time. We don't have to worry about decompression.
Question from Ramvinder. Do fish live longer in groups or alone? What's the thought on that? Ooh.
I'm not sure. I don't know what. I'm not sure. I know the answer. It's an interesting question, though.
That is.
What do you think, Nikai?
I would have to go with both ways. Fish living in groups tend to survive longer, but also there are other species of fish that, when they're by themselves, a good example is a barracuda. They tend to live longer when they are hunting and living alone instead of packs or schools.
I don't know if you can see in here, Jeandre, there's a whole bunch of little baby fish. Lots and lots of baby fish. And then, see? I don't know if you can get in here, mate. But a huge school. Now they're staying right in the crevices, because if they come out into the open, they're going to get eaten. So they're hiding away in there.
Oh yeah. No chances of finding whales, Ravender. Just not the area for whales to migrate around here. But anything can happen when you're in the ocean, believe me.
Wow, Wow, there's so many little tiny fish all over.
Oh, yeah. Have you, Graham, question from Sally. Have you seen any jellyfish around there?
I have not seen any jellyfish today. I don't know, Nick. I don't think that they're that common here. Is that right?
Yeah, every so often you can find one or two, but not as common around here. We do get some seasons where we have blooms of them, but it's only for like a couple of days, and that's it. Out of the year.
I see another sergeant major over there, so I think we should go around here and not risk. Oh, look there, one of my favorites. The four-eyed butterfly fish. There's two of them together. You often see two together. You see it over there.
Yeah.
The two of them over there. Now they're an interesting fish. If you'll notice, they've got on the back towards the tail, they've got a black dot. Now to a predator, that looks like the actual fish's eye, which can confuse a predator because what they think is that the fish is going to swim backwards, and that's basically their protection. That's their way of confusing the predator.
Mm-hmm. Graham, question from Camille. They're asking, where is this site? Where are we diving right now today in the Cayman Islands?
It's a good question. I should have mentioned this right up front. We're diving on Casuarina Point, which is on the western side of Grand Cayman, straight out from Don Foster's Dive. It's kind of like the house reef, if you will, of Don Foster's Dive. And we're just a little bit south of Devil's Grotto. So Devil's Grotto is probably not more than a couple hundred feet in that direction.
Yeah. And what are we doing here? What's our goal with DiveLive and this Kickstarter campaign, and what can we do to help or get our viewers to help us?
Okay, so what you can do is you can go ahead and go to divelive.wildearth.tv. And this is a Kickstarter campaign, and what we're looking for is for you to join us on this mission. Because what we want to do is we want to do daily dives, and we want to share them with kids in schools all over the world. We want to share it for free with people everywhere, and you can join us and come along on this journey and make this a reality, because we want to share our oceans with everybody. This is an interesting... Oh, sorry. Did I kick you there, Jeandre? Apologies. Come over here. There's a tube sponge, which is quite an interesting animal, actually. Come over here, mate. This yellow tube sponge. Now, what's going on here is that water is basically being slowly sucked from the side of the sponge and then blown out the middle. And it's filter feeding. It's basically a filtration system, and it's taking any little morsels of food out of the water and eating them essentially by filtering it.
Oh, that's pretty fantastic, isn't it?
Really beautiful. And when you see things like this, it's tempting to imagine that it's a plant, but in fact it's not a plant, it is an animal.
Yes.
Here we've got an interesting fish as well. He's hiding away. I don't know if we're going to be able to see much of him. But he's a squirrel fish, and we might get a glimpse of his big eye. I don't know if you can see him, Jeandre. He's kind of half hidden in the reef over there. And, okay, looks like you're almost there. I'm getting in your way.
Kind of hiding there a little bit.
Is he gone? I can't see from... Oh, no, he's not. He's come on the other side. He's an interesting fish. He's nocturnal. He hides away during the day, and that's why he's got such a big eye, because at night he can see a lot better. He's letting in a lot of light. But during the day, he'll just hide away in the reef.
Graham, can we mention the link to the Kickstarter page, if that's possible?
Sure. Well, you can do it one of two ways. You can either go to Kickstarter.com and just search for DiveLive. I think that we're actually live at the moment on Kickstarter as well. Or you can go to DiveLive.wildearth.tv. And DiveLive.wildearth.tv will take you to our Kickstarter campaign. And there, hopefully, you'll decide to join us on this adventure and sharing scuba diving with the whole world.
And we're planning to broad this to kids in schools, isn't that correct?
Exactly. Our plan is to be able to allow kids to join every day, and we'll do it on a scheduled basis so that the kids can plan it into their schools. And then for the time that the kids are watching, we'll only answer questions from those kids. Because if we can just get kids to get inspired by and believe in our oceans and love them, that's the future of conservation. That's how we're going to make sure that these oceans are available for years and years and years for everybody to enjoy.
There we go. Now, I got a question here from the Safari Live crew. And that question is, what pelagic predators feeds on these reefs? And to answer that for you guys out there, we don't really have pelagic creatures that really come and feed off this reef. Maybe once in a while a nurse shark or some amberjacks or African pompanos and permits, but nothing really pelagic like whale sharks or whales or dolphins or anything in that sort of manner.
A bunch of fish over here. I'm not sure what those are. I'm not sure. Can you get down there? They got a big stripe on them. It's a small school. They're eating something. It looks like maybe algae. Okay, that I think is a wrasse. That little yellow one.
Yes. And you got a little dazzle fish there swimming away. Yeah.
While you're here, take a look down there. There's a sea urchin that's sticking up between those rocks there.
Nice.
Yeah. You can't see the rest of it's underneath, but that looks like a fairly big one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what else we can find hiding around over here. There's another one of those 4-spot butterfly fish, and I bet you somewhere nearby will be his or her mate. Lots of those little yellow wrasses everywhere. Lots and lots of fish hiding away, small fish.
Graham, got a question from Amy. She's asking, is the coral still in good condition, or can you see any human damage or litter around?
So there's absolutely no litter at all. I haven't seen any litter at all, except for maybe Nikai's father's sculpture. But there's no litter. Oh, look over there. Look at that. What did you say, the black and yellow angelfish?
Those are rock beauties.
Oh, that's it, rock beauty. Look how stunning that is. Isn't he or she just beautiful? There's also almost no damage to the reef caused by divers, even though Grand Cayman sees an immense number of people coming diving. But all of the divers and the dive operations really work hard to make sure that nobody dives with gloves, for example, or does anything try and avoid touching the reef at all. So it's really been well conserved. It's really one of the best examples of a high amount of tourism, but at the same time, really, really strong conservation ethics and effort made by all the people involved. Also, for example, you're not allowed to anchor when you go diving here in your boats. We don't want to get too close. He's got the eggs down there. You're not allowed to anchor over here, and everything is done with the moorings. And hold on a second. Just take a look at this. This is fire coral. So, this would really, if you did touch it, which of course we're not going to do, you would really get badly stung by this coral over here.
Oh yeah. had a question from Ian here, Graham. Will there also be an underwater camera for zoomies to operate? And will this be broadcasted on YouTube as well?
Yes, we will be broadcasting on YouTube as well in time. But to begin with, we're going to be going through a phase after this campaign, and hopefully a successful. We're going to be spending a period of about a month where we're going to broadcast only to those people that support us on the Kickstarter campaign. And the reason for that is that we need to get this figured out. There's a lot of equipment, technical problems that need to be resolved. We need to work out just how to make the interactivity effective. Right now we're just experimenting, but this is going to be turned into a proper, reliable service. After that month, then we're going to go public, and we're going to include YouTube in it. In terms of, are we going to have cameras that the zoomies can control? Well, that's not part of the immediate plan, but it is certainly something that, we'd like to think about doing at some point. Take a look over here. I don't know, Jeandre, if you can get in there. This is a Christmas tree worm, and this worm, it's an animal. It looks like a plant, but it's not. And this worm is grabbing little tiny bits of food and fish eggs out of the water and eating it. Kind of looks like a Christmas tree.
Great question, Heather. From Heather, what does the reef do for the ecosystem? And to be honest, that is actually the homes for these fish and crustaceans that live underwater. And not only is it our own shelter, but the coral reef actually produces food for the fish that live around here. So it is actually, the ecosystem is, or should I say the reef is a very important ecosystem for any living creature underwater, either for protection or food.
So just so you all know, I'm currently at 8 meters, which is, how deep is that in feet? It's about 24 feet. And I've been down for 36 minutes. And for those of you that are just joining, it's about 27 degrees centigrade, which is about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're diving in Grand Cayman at Casuarina Point.
And how are you guys doing down there with time?
Sorry, say that again?
How are you guys doing down there with time?
Yeah, we're doing good. I think Jeandre's got about 100 bar in his tank, I can see. I've also got 100 bar, which means that we've still got a bit of time left. We're so shallow that we could probably stay here for much, much longer because we have, there's no decompression. I've got a computer on my wrist that tells me exactly what's going on from a depth and time point of view. And so we're doing good. And it's nice and warm. It's beautiful. I'm happy to be here. I'm glad you're all here with me. Let's keep looking around. What else we got? Somebody said that we should slow down and look in the crevices, and that's really good advice. We should really look at that.
Yes, Patricia, to answer your question, is this a protected reef? And it is. Actually, all the reef around the Cayman Islands are in a marine park, and what that is pretty much an area where divers and snorkelers can enter the water and see the wildlife, but they are not allowed to touch any part of the ecosystem, any fish, even if it's alive or dead, just so that it can get recycled and not damaged by us divers or snorkelers that are viewing it out there. So to answer your question, yeah, the reefs are protected here.
Now what you're looking at there is a trumpet fish. And this is a really interesting fish. What he's doing is he's long and thin. And what he'll do is he'll face his prey, another fish, and from the perspective of the prey, This trumpetfish doesn't look very big because you can imagine the cross-section from the front isn't very big. But this is how he hunts, by just slowly moving into position and getting close enough and then finally striking out. Really beautiful fish.
Oh, yes. And they're
slowly moving around, look at that.
And when they blend into the reef, it almost looks like a part of the soft coral just wafting back and forth. So they've got some real good camouflage out there.
The patient ambush predator.
Fantastic. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Ryan is asking, will there be multiple dive guides like Safari Live does?
Well, yes, exactly. So the idea is to begin with, we're going to start with a single feed. So it'll be one person at a time, but there'll be several marine biologists that will conduct these dives. 3, in fact. And then we're going to stay like that for a couple of months, and we're going to slowly develop it until we get it just right. And then we're going to add several more feeds so that we can have effectively a television quality show where we cut between the various different feeds. You know what? He's actually at a keening station now. I can see that he's got a wrasse on him.
Now, Graham, some of our viewers are wondering what that yellow line that is attached to you is. Can you give them an idea what that is?
Yeah, let me find it. There it is. Oh, hold on. This yellow line is the communication cable that comes from my full face mask and goes all the way along, and it connects into the camera. And then from there we have a fiber optic cable that goes all the way out to the shore, and that's where it connects out onto the internet. That's also where Nikai is. Nikai is sitting on the shore. He's watching what you're watching, and we can talk to each other via this. Oh, there we go. They're the grunts again. Look at them. They really are so beautiful. And there's a goatfish. I don't know. Where's get out of the way. If you take a look up there, Jeandre, on the coral head, you'll see the one fish is a goatfish. He's got a barb that comes at the bottom of his chin, hence the name goatfish. It's the top one. Yeah, there we go. And he's living there with the grunts. Maybe he's got an identity crisis.
Tim had a great question. From Tim, will there be any night dives done like this?
Absolutely. I love night dives. Night dives are really, actually, in some respects, that's when the reef really comes alive as well. And there's a lot of extra animals and activity that go on at night. There's also something just amazing about the experience of being out here at night. Maybe a little bit more kind of creepy. It's a bit kind of like Halloween underwater.
Pradeep, who's 6 years old, asking. Pradeep, that's 6 years old, is asking, how are corals built and formed?
So corals are actually a whole colony of animals, and what they do is they slowly build over a very long period of time. They build on top of the previous colonies, and it's like they're all like little mega cities of tiny little animals.
Oh, yes.
Great to have you with us as well. There's a parrotfish. Now you can see what the parrotfish is doing, and that's, by the way, the exact same one we saw earlier. As you can see, it's got a little injury on its side, which I noticed previously. I don't know if any of you saw it, but what he's doing is actually biting off bits of the coral and eating that. And what he excretes out the back is basically beach sand.
Yes. And getting a good view of that, that's a blue parrotfish. Really neat. Very beautiful blue colors on it.
Now, whoa, now that's amazing. There's an emperor angelfish that's hiding. I think, Jeandre, if you go down that way, I think you might be able to see him. I just caught a glimpse. There he is. There he is. Beautiful, beautiful. This is one of the most beautiful fish. I don't know if you saw that, Jeandre. He seems to have gone back in. There he is. He's out again. He's out again. Isn't that magnificent?
Yeah, beautiful queen angelfish right there.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start winding this up. We've got to make sure that we are able to complete the dive and still have 50 bars in our tanks. It's super important that we're really safe. What we're also going to do is we're going to do a safety stop before we get to the surface, which is also just an important safety precaution. It's not really necessary in the sense that we're not in decompression, but it's good to always have a safety stop at the end of the dive. But this has been great. It's been amazing. Thank you for joining us. And what we'd really like to ask is if you can go to divelive.wildearth.tv or kickstarter.com and search for DiveLive and come and join us on this mission. We really want to share the world's oceans with everybody, and you can be a part of that journey. You can help us to make this a reality and join us on this adventure. Thank you very, very much from everybody over here, from Nikai, from myself,
yes.
Jeandre. Thanks for the dive.
Thank you for joining us, guys.